5 days from tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris and ex-President Donald Trump will come face to face for the first time, perhaps the only time, on a debate stage in Philadelphia. The Trump campaign and the Harris campaign have agreed to the rules as were set out by ABC News. ABC News is hosting this debate. It will mirror the June debate between Trump and President Joe Biden. The microphones will be muted. So with everything locked in now, all that is left is for Donald Trump, as he has done so many times before every debate, is to spend the next 5 days moving the goalposts, lowering expectations for himself, attacking the media. He did it last night in a Sean Hannity safe space, attacking the network over the debate that he agreed to. We're back with John, David, and Matt. David Jolly, I think it's a shrinking audience that's following the thread on all of Trump zigging and zagging on the debate. But the bottom line is,
sure,
Trump knows he benefits from his ranting and raving, or if he doesn't, his campaign knows that he benefits from being shut off. But I don't think it hurts Harris either way. I think this is such a. I mean, I don't want to set expectations in a false place for her either, but such an advantage to her in this setting in particular.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure this debate matters to Donald Trump, and how Donald Trump performs in this debate really matters. We kind of know who he is. The country knows who he is. We'll see him boorish and angry and insulting, and in many ways that's baked into the American people's mind. But I think this is a real opportunity where Americans will look to take a measure of the vice president, fairly or unfairly. And it may actually be less about her exchanges with Donald Trump, because we remember the Hillary Clinton exchanges and the Joe Biden exchanges with Donald Trump. Again, the angry, boorish Donald Trump. But it may come in exchanges with the moderators. To see real serious pushing like we will see in interviews with the vice president. Did you have a role in the planning of the withdrawal from Afghanistan, or did you not? What was your role when it comes to the economy or certain decisions of the Biden administration? Again, less what she answers than how she answers and how she engages, and then certainly her strength and capacity to deal with Donald Trump. Everything we have seen thus far, she is going to hold a command of that stage and put Donald Trump in his place. And I think that contrast between the two candidates will play favorably. A candidate in Vice President Harris who shows strength and command and the ability to root for the country instead of rooting against it. But those exchanges with the moderators, I do actually think matter. And that is where the American people will get to see Vice President Harris in a way that they have seen Donald Trump before, and they've probably already made a judgment of Trump, but maybe not yet on Harris.
And David Jolly, I've got to get you to weigh in on the conversation in the last block about this death of the Republican Party and how the Democratic coalition absorbs as many of their voters as they can ahead of November.
I think there's two things going on that are very important that we get right, and I love this conversation. Both Heilman and Matt alluded to it with your conversation. I think the Cheney endorsement, the Kinzinger endorsement, what we saw on the Democratic stage is an inflection point for the voting behavior of Never Trump Republicans, right? Cheney and Kinzinger and others weren't there yet to pulling the lever for a Democratic nominee. They are now, but they are not part of the coalition, actually, that Vice President Harris and today's Democrats have seemingly suggested they now want to build for the next 4 years. You could see, for instance, a Cheney and Harris back on an RNC stage supporting a Nikki Haley or a candidate like that should someone emerge. But I think what is so qualitatively different in 2024 that we just got whispers of in 2020 is that the new Democratic coalition is kind of America's coalition. And a lot of the early Never Trump Republicans are actually becoming soft Democrats. That is where the power of this Harris campaign and today's Democratic Party is really harnessed, because it is an opportunity during a Harris administration to grow a coalition and move Republicans to Democratic registrants. The votes of everybody against Donald Trump matter. But the Cheney-Kinzinger votes may not be there in 28, but a lot of these other Republican voices might find themselves still supporting the Democratic coalition in 28. That's the power of this cycle under Vice President Harris.